Hi, how are you doing today? This is Widow on a Budget, and I want to talk about identity. So, when I think of identity, I think of my titles. So, it started off, and I was a daughter, and I was a sister, and eventually I became a wife and a birth mother. Well, birth mother came before wife. I became a mother. I became an empty nester. I become a widow. And I feel stuck at widow. I think of this as my main identity. So, every relationship is different. But when you're a widow, you feel like there is no relationship. I can remember when I had gastric bypass and I would be in the line at the checkout and I would see all the candy bars, the chips, the Cokes, this, that, and the other that I could not have. And how I thought I will never have this stuff ever again. And let you rest assured I have not. Yes, I've had Pringles. And yes, I might have had one Reese's, but I do not enjoy candy. I do not enjoy pop. I have not had soda since 2000. I would look at their buggies and I'm like, "Oh, they get to eat lasagna and they get to eat dips and they get to eat pizza and gosh, all that bread." And I would just think about all the things that they're getting to have in their buggy, but I don't get to have in my buggy. Well, now I'm the widow. And I look around me and I see people loving each other. I see people hugging each other. I see people saying, "I love you." I see people hand in hand. I see young people that are in relationships. I see people in their 90s in relationships. And I'm just 55 and I'm a widow. Now, God could have made me a widow when I was 25, and that would be tragic. I would have had two young kids. Or would that be one? Not sure on that, exactly how old I would be when I had my two kids. So, maybe I would have had a kid or two. I'm not sure. At least one. But widow at 55, that just seems so unnatural. I was 50 when I became a widow. That just seems like crazy upon measure, like the wow factor. Like I never dreamed I would be a widow. I would sit on my husband's lap and tell him, "We're going to be married 60 years, honey. You're my prince. I love you so much. You saved me." And no, Jesus died on the cross and saved me for my sins. I'm not talking about that. But I'm talking about He gave me a life worth living. And I knew that I had someone in this world that really loved and cared about me. Yes, He did. And I cared and loved Him so much that 5 years after He's passed, it's about to be 5 years, I still think about Him daily. So I think I'm going to be a widow for the rest of my life. I don't know God's plan. I really don't know. Maybe God will have me marry someone else. But for marriage, I have such high expectations. They would have to meet the same expectations that I would require of the person I married the first time, and that would be a Christian man, a man that didn't drink, a man that didn't have a record with the law, a man that didn't drive recklessly, a man that didn't cuss, a man that read the Bible, a man that would put his family first, a man that would love me like I'm his princess. And I could go on and on and on. And am I ever going to find a man like this? Probably not. And the main reason why is because as a widow, I'm afraid to put myself out there. I'm afraid of every single loss that could happen. I'm truly afraid. I'm not just afraid of that. I'm afraid of losing a child. Yes, I lost my birth son. He died. Complications of type 1 diabetes. But that's not the same loss as a son that you raised or a child that you raised. And it definitely does not compare to me being a widow. Now, don't come hate on me. I'm not saying that if you've lost a kid that my pain is more than your pain, because I have not been there as far as raising a child and then losing that child. That has not happened in my life yet. And I just pray that that day never comes. But I worry, like when my son says that he's going to go to Orlando with his wife, and that's probably for a birthday celebration. And he just told me that this morning. I naturally get like anxiety because I'm scared. Like, what if he gets killed? Like, is he going by plane? Is the plane going to crash? Or is he going by car and he's going to crash the car? Or somebody's going to run into him and it's going to be fatal, that way, it's just, I always expect the worst. Because to me, the worst has happened. My husband is no longer here. He no longer will be here. He won't ever reappear. Even though I cry out for him every single night, he is not going to come back. He's not. Only Christ rose from the dead. I don't see that happening with my husband. He was not buried. He's cremated and he's in my closet. So that would be something really weird. And even if he was buried, he's not Christ. So that's not going to happen. Not going to happen, no matter how much I wished it would happen. I would give anything for him to knock on my door and say, honey, can I come in? I would give anything for that to happen. But it's not going to happen, no matter how hard I wish. I joined the gym in the town over from me, and I haven't gone because I don't want to put myself out there. I don't want women or men asking me questions. I just want to be left alone, but at the same time, I long for human interaction. It is hard when you're a widow and you can't talk about it. Because if you talk about it, you're going to cry. And that's going to make the other person uncomfortable. It makes me uncomfortable when I cry. But that's what I do. I've been dating a guy since David died in July of 2019, and I've been dating Michael since May of 2020. And that was probably too soon. And I don't know if we'll ever break it off. I'm too scared to be alone. Like, for instance, two trees blew over or fell over into my yard when it stormed and kept on storming last week. And I don't have a chainsaw, and I don't have the ability to deal with that situation on my own. Like, I wished I had the ability, but I don't. There's some things that I just can't do, and I can't afford to pay somebody to do it. And that's not why I'm with Michael, but it is a security. It's a security to let him know I'm on my way home, and I'll be home at X o'clock, and you know that if he doesn't hear from you, that he's going to do what it takes to make sure that you're okay. So that brings us security. And I can tell him I'm feeling a little bit depressed about the David situation. And he will hold me and make me feel better. But 95% of the time, I'm here alone in my house. I don't have anybody that's going to lay down in my bed and hold me. I don't have a lap to sit on and say, we're going to be married 60 years. I don't have a mom either. My mom and I did not get along. And this is my adopted mom. We didn't get along, especially as after I became an adult. But I know without a shadow of a doubt that she would know exactly what to say to me in these darkest hours. I know she would know. I can remember when I wouldn't feel good and she would stroke my hair. She would lay beside me reading a book to me and she would stroke my hair. And so now I'll be laying in bed and I won't be feeling good because I'll be thinking about, woe is me. I'm a widow. I won't ever see David. And I'll be stroking my hair because I'll be self-soothing. And it feels so good. And it brings me back to those memories when I did get along with my mom. My mom passed away in 2013. I do have my kids left and their kids and their wives. But I don't have family besides that. Everybody's gone. My brothers are gone. My parents are gone. My cousins are gone. Aunts, uncles, grandparents, they're all gone. My mother and father-in-law are gone. And if they were here, I'm not sure that I would fit in that family anymore. I'm not sure that I would be accepted into that family anymore. They probably don't even think about me anymore. And that's sad too. It really is. So, my question is, how do I find a new identity as a widow? I would like to claim that I'm a child of God and replace widow that I'm a child of God. Reading my Bible, Bible journaling, praying, those kind of things give me peace. And sometimes it upsets me that I can't just lean on the fact that I'm a child of God and I'm stuck in this widow title. I feel stuck. And why did this happen? Did God have a purpose for taking David? And was that purpose about me, or was it about someone else? Or was it purely about David? If it was about me, I would think that God is wanting me to take on the title of a child of God. However, right now I'm unequally yoked with a guy that I've been dating since 2020. You know, the Michael that I mentioned before. And you're not supposed to be unequally yoked. That's a no-no. And the reason why is because you get stuck in that area of your life where you don't want to break it off, but you do want to break it off because you don't want to be unequally yoked. And the time that you spend together is usually Saturday night and Sunday mornings. And, you know, Sunday mornings is when you can go to church and meet new people and have fellowship and this, that, and the other. But you're not doing that because you're seeing Michael. So what do you do? What do you do? What is the answer to this question? What do I do? Being with Michael brings me so much peace and so much security that I'm got one foot on one side of the fence as a child of God and got the other foot on the side of the fence of dating somebody that's not a child of God. And I'm stuck. My bottom is stuck on top of that fence and I can't get off. What do you do? But I so much want to take on that I'm a child of God. Like, wouldn't it be nice to, when you introduce yourself, saying, you know, hi, I'm Angela. I'm a child of God. Instead of, hi, I'm Angela. and they say, "Oh, are you married?" It's complicated. I'm a widow. Just why not, Angela? I'm a child of God. But I don't think I can do that with my butt on the fence, with a leg on one side and a leg on the other side. I don't think that's possible. So what do I do? What do I do? The kids like Michael. My sons like Michael. They say that he's a lot like David. But he is so not like David. David and I read the Bible together. We prayed together. We went to church together. Michael and I watch movies together. And we sleep together. How does that equal the same? It doesn't. But I'm so scared. Like, really, really scared. Like, I don't ever talk to anybody on the phone. It's always texting, either through Facebook Messenger or through text. I don't have adult conversations. So, how do I live in this world and be alone? How do I get off the fence? Because that's just going to make me even more lonely. So, am I a widow or am I a child of God? Okay, so we're going to end this on a good note. So, for some reason, after David passed, I started seeing red cardinals everywhere. And I thought, David's thinking about me. Thank you, David. And I'd go outside and I'd hear him sing. And I'd be looking for him. I'm like, you have to show your face. You have to show your face so I can see you. You got to show me where you are. There's big, tall trees that he's in. And, the bird's a little tiny compared to these massive trees. And so I would be looking and looking and looking, and before you know it, I could find him. And he would just sing and sing and sing. And I'd be driving home from somewhere, and I would see red cardinals. And it seemed like every day I would see a red cardinal. Now, here lately, I haven't been seeing as many red cardinals. And I'm not sure what that means. But I do believe that is David saying that he cares about me and that he's thinking about me. And I think it's a message from God that God has me. Like, God's not going to let me fall. But anyway, funny story is Michael drives a Chevrolet truck. It's a red truck. I don't know what. I think it's a Silverado, I think. Limited edition, I think. Anyway, he parks it in my driveway because I'm parked in the garage. And every time that Michael comes, we can be sitting in the car, so we know it's the red cardinal. Or not the car, the truck. We know it's the red cardinal because The red cardinal has come to the window and perched himself up on the window ledge, so he can like see his reflection. And he poops all over Michael's door and the mirror. Always. Every time Michael comes. Every single time. So is this David's sense of humor? Is this David saying he does not like Michael? I want to think that David wants me to be happy, and if Michael makes me happy, he's okay with that. But I know that David always had a sense of humor, and this is him showing it. He's absolutely showing his sense of humor. I hope today, when I go outside, I hope I see a red cardinal. I have been told that if you put sunflower seeds in your yard, it will attract cardinals or blue jays. So, anyway, I haven't done that. I do have a bird bath. But the problem with putting the bird bath out there is that you have to move it every time you mow. Which, I think it was the last video I posted, I had mowed the backyard and I was going to mow the front yard before it rained. Well, it still hasn't rained, but I haven't mowed the front yard because, well, as a widow, to mow a yard when your mower is about that wide, seriously. It's an electric lawnmower, and I bought the smallest one because that's what I could afford. It's electric. It takes forever to mow a lawn. So, I'm tired. Wouldn't say that I'm like totally depressed or anything like that, but I'm kind of down in the dumps today. But when I took a shower this morning, I listened to Hillsong worship. And that helped a lot. Listening to Christian music helps a lot. And then after I cooked my tacos, my taco meat and everything, I had, between the taco meat and the beans that I'm cooking in the crock pot, I had used a skillet, a lid, 2 knives, 2 cutting knives, 3 cutting boards, my bowl I ate with, and then I ended up having to scoop cheese and meat with a spoon to finish it all up. And what else did I have? I don't know, but I had a lot of dishes, but not enough to fill a dishwasher. So I hand washed the dishes. And when you have a clean house and you accomplish things on your own. I mean, like, to me, being a widow, like, just paying my bills is an accomplishment. Taking a shower sometimes feels like an accomplishment. Now, I'm not telling you I don't take a shower. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that as a widow, sometimes every single step that you make feels like an accomplishment. It really does. So, cleaning house, decluttering, doing those kind of things makes me feel accomplished. I'm washing my sheets today. They're probably ready to put in the dryer by now. Anyway, it's nice to have a clean home. It's nice that I have a nice home, a home that I can be proud of. But I leave with you today, what is your title? What is your identity? What is the title that you identify as? And does that title give you hope? I wish that I could move from widow as my main title to I'm a child of God as my main title. Anyway, I'm going to close this up. It's been 30 minutes. I thank you for being here today, listening to me. If you'll leave a comment, if you'll like and subscribe, I would really appreciate it, and it would help me out a lot. Thank you, and you have a wonderful, blessed day. And pray for the person in front of you and the person behind you in every place you go throughout your day. And you have a good one. Bye-bye.